apparently I'm live. I don't know what happened. I'm using my phone and I got and something came up. So, oh well, sorry about that. Here I am. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had quite the adventure already today. I decided to make some cornbread. And I gotta tell you, it was so delicious. It reminded me we have to be really careful not to overindulge when we're in our, present isolation or whatever you want to call it, because I definitely could eat the whole thing. In order not to do that, I packaged some up with the amazing lentil soup I made last night, and I brought it over to my sister. Long distance, being a family, ran across the street, dropped it, bye. No hugs, no touching. It is quite the amazing thing we're in. And I want to remind you the importance of the fact that we are making history. There never has been a time like this in all history, and Lord willing, there never will be again. But we are just every day. And so every day, remember I talked to you one day about the word history being his story, her story. We are writing the story of life, of America, of how we can be resilient and clever and genius. And that's what we're holding on to as we move forward into a rather scary unknown. But breathe deeply and come along with me. Okay, so I'm going to shake off all my busyness that got me here this morning. And I wanted to tell you, I wanted to pick up on what we were talking about yesterday, which was Myrtle Fillmore's healing. Now, I had said that she was told, you are a child of God, therefore you cannot inherit illness, which is, she'd been told she'd inherited it. It was part of her family history, and she had no way out. The second thing I told you is that it took 2 years for this healing to occur, with much time and energy involved in going into her room, her office, closing the door behind her, and focusing. And one of the things she focused on was blessing and loving every cell of her body, including the ones that were experiencing the dis-ease. So, sometimes you think, oh, I wish that'd go away, or oh, I hate my nose, or, different people are very critical about their physical body or their illness or hating it. She did it a different way. She blessed every cell of her body. Think about that for a moment. Do you have a pain, an ache, a challenge? Take a deep breath. Why? When we breathe in deeply, we give our brain a rest. Give your brain a rest and think to yourself, I am whole, I am perfect, I bless you, my body, I bless every cell of your amazing health, I affirm you, I see you getting stronger, I see you getting healthier. Isn't that wonderful? I really do. It works. We know this because we've seen it work. So I would like to invite you to pick up that practice in order to build immunity. We talked a little bit yesterday about immunity and how we do impact our own immunity. It is known that stress breaks down your immunity. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said that when we are angry, our hormones actually flood toxins into the system. They're kind of fight or flight things. They're not good because they're not bringing us peace. We need to know when we really need to fight or flight and when we need to let go and let God handle it. Because believe it or not, God's greater than we are. So today we are on day 6. So I'm going to cross that off on our little calendar. And I will acknowledge my hair is particularly funky today. I am aware of that. It is what it is. I kind of thought might as well give you a good laugh if I can't do anything, because I know it's kind of springing off in every direction. I had 2 choices. Decide to go take a shower or something and not be on time for you and not be with you, or to put myself out there. I chose you. I always do. We'll talk about this in a little bit. So with Myrtle's healing, she was blessing her cells and sending energy, healing energy. Everything is energy. Quantum physicists say that energy never dies, it only changes form. So in your own being, take a breath and see yourself filled with energy. You know, one of our affirmations in Unity is, mighty currents of God's healing love flow through me now. And we breathe and we let it go through. And I'm going to tell you, try that every morning. There's another wonderful affirmation. Write this one down. You know how I tell you to write stuff down? Write this one down. Every day, in every way, I am getting better. And I affirm that for you, and I affirm that for me. Now, you know, this does work. It will keep us strong. It will keep us healthy. It's not going to make me any taller, or it's not going to make me any thinner unless I choose to change my ways, which I am working on. FYI, 125.6 was my yesterday check-in. I haven't checked in today, so I am determined when this is over, this is one of the ways I am going to be better. And I encourage you to find a way that will help you feel better as well. I had a great experience yesterday. Something else you want to write down. I happened upon a YouTube video. It was called Better Together is the name of this program that's on. And I guess it's a vlog or show, whatever. And they were interviewing John Edward. Now, I love John Edward. If you are not aware of who he is, he's a psychic medium. He had a television program called Crossing Over, helps people to unite, connect with people on the other side and stuff like that. He is a brilliant and very metaphysical man. And one of the things he was talking about is how we have gotten ourselves into what is they call it a dystopian consciousness. I had to make a note so I wouldn't forget. A dystopian mentality, he called it. He said, think about the shows that are on TV. Walking Dead, Hunger Games, Maze Runner. I can't remember the name of the show with the ladies with the red dresses and the white hats. But he said we've fallen into this consciousness of everything's bad. Is it any wonder with a negative consciousness like that we're manifesting, you know, negative stuff? One would only expect that to happen. Thoughts hold in mind produce after their kind. He talked about not being a part of a teen mindset. That I have said for a number of years that I think either humankind or America, whoever, the people that I'm usually immersed in and around on the planet in general, and as a minister I've been cross-country preaching and teaching, and I'm thinking that humankind is in a rebellious state of adolescence. You know, the rebellion that happens with kids. We don't want to follow the rules. look at the people who will not follow the rules with the voluntary staying away from each other, and now they're not knowing what they're going to do, because in New York, they had a video yesterday where the people were congregating like it was, there was a party in the park, close together, big bunches of them. That's adolescent rebellion. Well, you know what? We can rebel against principle all we want, but because of the law and cause and effect, every cause we send out is going to come back multiplied. And it's either come back blessed and multiplied, or it's going to come back cursed and multiplied. Think about it this way. I used to be a chaplain at the Indianapolis International Airport. I put on a little red jacket and it said chaplain. My job was, I was a volunteer, my job was to walk all over the airport, far and wide, and every time I saw someone, to smile at them. If I saw somebody that was worried or concerned or lost or, and one of the things I discovered is how few people smiled. Now, when I would initiate a smile, hello, very often, not as often as I like, I'd get a smile back. Very often a surprise smile. Oh, you saw me. Sometimes people are so tunnel visioned in whatever they're doing, and it's so important or it's so miserable. Of course, the underlying purpose of having a chaplain there was, in the event of some horrible tragedy, we would be there to comfort and keep the high watch in the midst of whatever was going on. But it's really important to keep that consciousness up. There is a writer, a Unity writer, who said that we cannot afford the price of a negative thought. Thoughts, think about this. Thoughts are like a chain reaction, okay? I talked to you yesterday about my fall, about falling in consciousness from my higher, wonderful spiritual being down to a crabby, crotchety, nasty attitude. Well, what happens is you get a couple of thoughts that are negative, and they're very hard to avoid today, but we know how to avoid them. So you get a thought, and that attaches to another thought, and that attaches to another thought. So it's a chain reaction, bam, 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 and it either pulls us down or it pulls us up. For us, we can't afford the price of a negative thought, because whatever brings us down is actually going to weaken our immune system. So what we want to do is we want to build ourselves up, 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 up. Call a friend who you know will agree with you about the need to be positive. Call them and tell them something wonderful that happened. I was on a website the other day. I was watching a video, and the person was giving something away, and I thought that'd be nice to have, and I put my name down, and there was that thought like, oh, you're not going to get that. This is thousands of people watch these videos. And I said, if God wants me to have it, I'll have it. If He doesn't, I won't. I won. I was so excited. So the first thing I did, I called my sister, because we want to share our joy, right? And when we share our joy, that's taking that same chain reaction and making it work for good and making us better and better. Do you see the difference? You're always in a chain reaction. How do you want it to work? For better or worse? You are driving this. You are making that choice. However, like I said yesterday, if you let yourself get too depleted, sometimes you just need to step back and get away and probably turn it over to God and take a nap. Sometimes that's the best we can do. There's a book called Messages from the Body. And the woman who wrote the book, which I apologize, I did not write it down, she said that viral infections are caused by lack of joy. I want you to take that in for a minute, okay? that in your head and roll it around a bit. Viral infections are caused by lack of joy. Would you tend to agree with me that over recent times, our joy has kind of dissipated? There's more division, there's more angst, there's more concern. So we really open a door to viral infection. That's not a good thing. That will bring me to, I'm going to move this, not changing, but I can, so we can have this. This is called, which you will see more about it in a minute, the 4 quadrants of consciousness. Now, I'm going to step forward a little bit and see if I can pull my camera thingy closer. Wednesday, I'm getting a new camera so I can zoom and everything, but let me just bring this forward. I hope that's better. So I hope now you can more clearly see what I'm going to write. I'm almost losing my head, but that's okay, because right now I want you to see what I'm writing. This is the 4 quadrants of consciousness. Remember I was saying we are human beings having a spiritual, no, I said we're spiritual beings having a human experience. This is our human experience. This is where spiritual being consciousness is. So this is lower consciousness. This is higher consciousness. This is called, and I'm going to have to excuse my butt so I can write because I'm left-handed. I did this the wrong way. Okay, so this is human thought. And this is human. I'm really proud of the way I wrote that. That's relatively neat for me. And this is intuitive. And this is sensing. So this is about kind of thinking and stuff like that. And this is like feeling. So we have our higher thinking and feeling, and we have our lower thoughts and emotions. Now, the thing about our thoughts and emotions is they can lie to us. I know, it's not a very good thing. This is where all our, what is it they call them, the 7 deadly sins? This is where this kind of jealousy, anger, wrath, lust, greed, all that stuff is down here. On the higher side, we have love, peace, joy. Don't you want to stay up here? So in yesterday's message, when I was talking about how I depleted my energy with the best of intentions, what I did is I fell out of the intuitive sensing part into human thought and emotion. I fell into dark, but thank God I know what I know, because I was then able to stop, make the connection, take care of myself, refill my tanks, and then come back. I'm going to leave this here, and over the however long it takes, I'm going to expand on this, okay? And you'll get deeper and deeper. Now, this comes from a book I wrote. The book is called The Rise of the False Gods. It's actually a book of metaphysics. You can go on, it's metaphysics written in the words of like a daily human experience that we all go through. So it's kind of written very contemporary. This is kind of a rewording, a contemporary rewording of what I learned in seminary like 30 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. Oh my God. Anyway, You can get that on Amazon. If you want a copy, you can private message me your address, and I will send you one. And if you like it, then I will, you can send me an offering for it. The information in this book to me is so important that I am literally giving it away and allowing people to send me donations that I can give away more books. You can also go on to Amazon and buy it. You can get it for your Kindle. It'll download, real quick, and that way you can go along as we talk about stuff, because during the course of this, we'll be talking more about it. You don't have to have it, but it's good to have so you can look more deeply into the 4 quadrants. We're going to do more on that another day, but I wanted to introduce it to you and ask yourself from time to time during the day, where am I? Are you here in your higher intuitive sensing consciousness, or have you fallen into the lower thinking and emotion? Are you having negative thoughts? Are you feeling bad? Are you angry? Are you disappointed? So if you have got any ickies, if you're feeling ick, chances are you're down here. If you're feeling poised and serene, you're up here. You have the decision to make where you are. You do. I know it feels young. So what happens? What happens if you can't pull yourself up? Call a friend. Call a minister. Call a priest. Call a rabbi. Call somebody that will help you get back on track. Now, it has to be someone you know will be able to support you. Many years ago, like more than 50 years ago, 52 years ago, where the heck's my life going? I was starting to slide into, what do they call that, postpartum blues. And I had this really bad dream one night, and I literally thought I was going to die. I did. I was like waiting, and I had this beautiful new baby, and I'd gone through the trauma of losing my grandfather, which was the first death I ever experienced. So, I went to talk to my priest, because that's what you did. And I went in, I sat down, I told him what was on my heart, and what he said to me was, "Are you prepared to die?" What? You want to tell a woman that's having pre-postpartum, depression, and has a baby and is distressed and came to you for help, you're going to ask her if she's ready to die? Now, it doesn't hurt to know that, that life is eternal, blah, 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 blah. But when you're in that place, that's the last thing you need to hear. I went out of there and I was so distressed. I wound up calling the doctor and got prescribed that the mother's little helper, if you're familiar with the Beatles song, she goes running to the shelter of her mother's little helper. It's a little yellow pill, Valium, which I took with great care because I did not want to get affected by it. And I took them and weaned off them. And then I didn't know, how to get past that horror and fear and everything. And before you know it, it was behind me. So you have to be careful who you talk to, that they're going to give you good advice. Sometimes the advice you get from a friend is something that you don't need, that it's not good for you. If, for example, let's say, and this is not true, but I'm going to make it up because it's a story I can make up quick in my mind. Let's say I get mad at my sister because my sister, I got to think of something because we don't have that many issues. Let's say I caught my sister saying something about me that wasn't nice. And I get really upset about it. So what I do is, any one of you that are here, I give you a call on the phone. Do you know what my sister said? I heard her say. And if you said, "How dare her? How could she do that?" You're not helping. I'm triangulating by going to you. Whereas if I went to her, she could probably tell me right there, "No, that's not what I meant at all. That's not what I meant at all." So be okay with going to the person that is causing you stress. Don't triangulate. When you have to talk to somebody because you're down, bottom line, make sure it's someone that you can trust to give you good advice, which means they don't necessarily agree with you. My friend who's a Unity minister, and now she's also Disciples of Christ, if I want some very solid counseling, Helen, I will call her, and she is so flat out honest, and she loves me enough to call me on my stuff. And yet, it always comes out supportive. Stay here. Communicate with friends who live here. Not when you're down here and you talk to someone who has their own challenges. Stay here. Okay, I want to do a few more things. We are told to pray without ceasing. And I told you how Myrtle Fillmore would spend long hours a day for two years in prayer. Do you know you can weave prayer into every aspect of your life? Our thoughts, in Unity we say, our thoughts are things. And sometimes, Charles Fillmore used to call them thought people. We got all these thought people running around our head. But our thoughts are things. They are ideas that will or will not manifest. And we also have a Unity song that says, our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take care of what you're saying. So we talk about God being omnipresent, everywhere present. Imagine God listening in on every conversation. You know, like if you were having a conversation with somebody, you turn around, ooh, and we could make it Jesus. Oh, Jesus, there you are. Or, oh, Buddha, I didn't expect you. Oh, Confucius, you know. Make sure that our thoughts are good thoughts and our words back that up. But I got a way you can integrate prayer into your daily life. I'm going to tell you one way that I do. What are we told to do a lot during this confinement? What do they say? What's one of the most important things they say is wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands. So we have to wash our hands. How long do we wash our hands? 20 seconds. Some people say that's when you can, that as long as it takes to sing happy birthday twice. Do you know what I do when I wash my hands? I recite the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I do the whole thing, and the whole thing, I never timed it before, but I figured, wonder how long I am doing that. 25 seconds. So, I mean, you can time yourself. I'm going to move you back, if you don't mind, just a little bit, because the way the screen is tilted, there, now, a little bit more. There. Okay, new camera coming, new camera coming. Okay, so that's a way that we integrate prayer into our lives. You can integrate prayer into your life. It's another thing I do. I believe we all have souls. All God's children got souls. And that includes bugs and worms and raccoons and otters and whatever, that we all have that spiritual energy within us. So when I am driving down the street and I see an animal was killed in the street, I'd like to stop and take it off, but I have to admit I don't do that. But what I do is let's say a little prayer. Oh, little animal, I hope you are released from any pain and suffering, and that it's what I do, okay? I say the prayer for protection. Light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. Power of God protects you. Presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, little animal, God is, and all is well. So I say prayers then. If an ambulance goes by, I say a prayer. We can always, before I do this, I say a prayer. I always try to weave prayer into my life. It changes because it changes where you allow your mind to go. So I would invite you to think about integrating prayer into your life in that way. Well, we cannot get to all this today because of our focus here, but that's okay with me because I hope it means you're going to want to come back tomorrow and we'll take more steps on this. And by the way, the word for today is comfort. I hope that when I brought the food over to my sister and her husband today and just dropped it there, and it's snowing here in case you don't know, and since I came into the office building from my apartment 200 feet away, the ground is now covered. This was supposed to be rain, so something isn't right there. So tomorrow, let me just take a quick look and make sure there's nothing. Oh yeah, okay, this is a small, quick, easy one. Because we want to leave this situation even better than we were when we came into it, here, write this down. Write this down. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Somebody was griping on our town information sharing page the other day that the dump station is changing its, they're trying to protect the people that work there and have few people and don't have a lot of people there at the same time, so they've had to change their rules and their days and their hours of operation, and they were griping and stop. Let's stop being adolescents. Let's not be spiritual adolescents. Let's be matured. Dale Carnegie's wife, I think, said, grow up, don't grow old. Let's grow up without growing old. So stop griping. Find ways. Yeah, that trash builds up fast, and nobody wants to have to take it and dump it. But if we reduce and reuse and recycle, guess what? We will have plenty, and we will be working on helping the planet. I'm planning on doing a little reducing. Now here, that's another one. Reduce the size of the portions you're eating. That'll do two things. It'll help reduce this, and it will help to make your food go longer if you have any concerns. I was saying yesterday, my Peapod order won't be coming until April 4th. So I have plenty to get me there, but I want to be careful. Reduce, reuse, recycle. There are so many things we can reuse. So I'm going to let you go for today. I do, like I say, and thank you, because I can barely read. Cheryl, thank you for giving me whatever you're giving me. I can't see that far. But when you make a comment, I have that later, that I can know that we connected, and you can know that I love you, and I bless you, and I appreciate you, and I behold the divinity in you. So, a good day to you. So happy we had this time together. Please come join me again tomorrow around the same time-ish, I'm hoping. I can't believe it. I'm locked in my house, and yet there's no time. My time is full. Yay, God. Okay, God bless. Stay safe. Be kind, and reach out to someone you love. Tomorrow, God bless.